Today, we're going to talk about the basics of Norse Shamanism. Hey there, you beautiful heathen. I'm Matt Sargent. Welcome to Iowa's Initiations. Thanks for tuning in. A quick caveat about the term shamanism. I know a lot of people hate hearing it used as commonly as it is. And shaman is technically the term for a spiritual leader, practitioner, someone who can communicate with spirit for the people of Mongolia. It's often considered to be cultural appropriation to use the term shaman outside of that culture. That said, it has become kind of a catch-all phrase in the modern vernacular for someone who can communicate with spirits, gods, the spirits of plants, animals, etc. And for that reason, I'm not opposed to the term Norse shaman, even though I prefer the term Vitki, Völva, Seidrkona. When someone asks, what is it that you do? What can you offer me? If you say, I'm a Vitki, or if you're a female, I'm a Völva, the average person has no idea what that means. And you'll have to explain it. And one of the best ways to communicate what exactly you have to offer if you are a Vitki or Völva or Seidrkona is, I'm a Norse shaman. Because even though people may not 100% understand what a shaman has to offer, they understand at the basics that it involves something along those lines. But what is Norse shamanism? As outlined in the video in the corner, heathenry and animism, we can see that heathenry is really steeped in animistic practices. And most animistic cultures have some form of shaman, someone who helps communicate with the spirits of the trees, the spirits of the rocks, the spirits of the dead, the gods, etc., and uses that communication to help the tribe in either figuring out what to do, how to approach a situation, an individual, how to approach something, some sort of divination, spa work, and or uses those connections with the spirit world, the other, the unseen world, to help aid in healing. An interesting similarity that we can find between the Vitki, the Völva, the Seidrkona, and the more traditional Mongolian shaman is the concept of shamanic death. In traditional shamanic cultures, the would-be shaman at some point has a near-death experience or actually dies for a short period of time and then comes back to life. And it's thought that this death experience is what breaks down the barrier between the other realm and the more natural realm that most of us are fully immersed in day to day. And that is what allows them to be the mediator between spirit and the regular world, for a lack of a better term. We can see examples of this in the lore. If we look at Odin and Freya, they're kind of the archetypes for the shaman. And Freya, you can make a very good argument that she is also Gulvig, who the Aesir burn 3 times, and she arises each time and grows more and more powerful. Then with Odin, Odin's shamanic death is a self-induced thing, and I do not recommend this at all. I feel that it's far more powerful if you've had just a natural near-death experience due to illness, something along those lines. But Odin hangs himself from Yggdrasil in the quest for the runes, and it is during this ordeal, the fasting, the hanging, that he looks down and he discovers the runes. We are not 100% sure if that means the Futhark rune staves or runa, as in mystery, could be both. So how does one practice this? How does one develop the skills of the Norse shaman? The main work that the northern shaman does is to develop relationships with spirits, whether it's, and this includes the spirits of all, the ancestors, the Landvatir, the Husvatir, the gods, the giants, rocks, etc. This is done by making offerings, bloat, as well as other offerings, represented by the Gebo rune, a gift for a gift, and developing those relationships. That way, when needed, they can call upon that spirit, whether it's a Landvatir, a god, a plant, to help aid in healing and or divination to benefit the tribe. Traditionally, there are various tools used and different techniques used. A lot of this work is done in a trance-like state. For the Völva, this is done in the high seat ritual where she is saying to and this helps bring about a trance state that allows her to communicate with spirit and communicate to modern Norse shaman often use a drum to help aid in achieving a trance state. I am a fan of the stave as outlined in this video here. Didn't have my stave with me, so I'm showing you the drum. And they also use different tools to help aid in communication with spirit. Oftentimes there are ritual talismans, such as bones or other sacred objects that help them communicate. The modern practitioner often uses their runes to help aid in divination and or making offerings or communicating with the spirits. Knowing the runes and knowing how to use them is important, and we can see evidence of this in the lore when we look at Egil's saga, where the hero Egil uses runes to help heal a daughter of a farmer. Another example that we can see referenced in the lore, so to speak, of developing relationships and allies with plants is again an example involving Odin in the Laknunga, or the 9-herb charm found within the Laknunga, where we are given instructions in how to help heal an individual from a wound. And in this spell, the practitioner, or Odin himself originally, is calling upon the spirit of 9 different herbs and to help aid in the healing. The would-be Vitki, Völva, Seidrkona preferably would have developed a relationship, a working relationship, one where they have given to these plants before they are calling on them to help aid in healing. So the basics, the Norse shaman is developing relationships with spirit, cultivating those relationships in order to benefit their tribe. And that's exactly why I'm sharing these videos that I do about the northern mystical arts, is that I want to empower you to help benefit your tribe and help save Midgard.